Hello there. Good morning. It's kind of a windy morning. I am in my backyard garden. I'm reading from the Bible. Today I'm reading from the book of Mark, the Gospel according to Mark. I will read chapter number 4. In chapter 4 of Mark, it talks about the parable of the sower, the purpose of the parables, a lamp under a bushel basket, the parable of the growing seed, the parable of the mustard seed, the use of parables, and then chapter 4 finishes up talking about Jesus stills a storm. But before I get started, I do want to talk just a little bit about what you see in the video today. What I'm showing you is a chamomile flower. This chamomile plant that's in the raised bed garden has just grown so much. Let me see if I can show you the whole plant. If I back up a little, maybe you can see more. So the chamomile plant, and then beyond it is a little bit of cabbage and an onion. I'm going to bring that flower back because I love the chamomile flowers. I will harvest the chamomile flowers as they bloom, and it'll just encourage it to have more blooms. And then what I do with chamomile is dehydrate it, save it, and then we will use it to make chamomile tea. Okay, back to Bible reading. Today I'm reading from the book of Mark, the Gospel according to Mark, chapter 4. It sounds like there's a small plane flying overhead. Maybe I'll wait for just a second until it flies by. Okay, the book of Mark, the Gospel according to Mark, chapter 4. The reading begins. Again, he began to teach beside the sea. Such a very large crowd gathered around him that he got into a boat on the sea and sat there, while the whole crowd was beside the sea on the land. He began to teach them many things in parables, and in his teaching he said to them, "Listen, a sower went out to sow, and as he sowed, some seed fell on the path, and the birds came and ate it up. Other seed fell on rocky ground, where it did not have much soil, and it sprang up quickly, since it had no depth of soil. And when the sun rose, it was scorched, and since it had no root, it withered away. Other seed fell among thorns, and the thorns grew up and choked it, and it yielded no grain. Other seed fell into good soil, and brought forth grain, growing up and increasing, and yielding 30 and 60 and 100-fold. And he said, Let anyone with ears to hear listen." When he was alone, those who were around him, along with the 12, asked him about the parables. And he said to them, "To you has been given the secret of the kingdom of God, but for those outside, everything comes in parables, in order that they may indeed look but not perceive, and may indeed listen but not understand, so that they may not turn again and be forgiven." And he said to them, "Do you not understand this parable? Then how will you understand all the parables? The sower sows the word. These are the ones on the path where the word is sown. When they hear, Satan immediately comes and takes away the word that is sown in them. And these are the ones sown on rocky ground. When they hear the word, they immediately receive it with joy, but they have no root and endure only for a while. Then, when trouble or persecution arises on account of the word, immediately they fall away. And others are those sown among the thorns. These are the ones who hear the word, but the cares of the world and the lure of wealth and the desire for other things come in and choke the word, and it yields nothing. And these are the ones sown on the good soil. They hear the word and accept it, and bear fruit 30 and 60 and 100-fold. He said to them, there's another plane overhead. He said to them, is a lamp brought in to be put under the bushel basket or under the bed and not on the lampstand? For there's nothing hidden except to be disclosed, nor is anything secret except to come to light. Let anyone with ears to hear listen. And he said to them, pay attention to what you hear. The measure you give will be the measure you get, and still more will be given you. For to those who have, more will be given, and from those who have nothing, even what they have will be taken away. He also said, the kingdom of God is as if someone would scatter seed on the ground, and would sleep and rise night and day, and the seed would sprout and grow. He does not know how. The earth produces of itself first the stalk, then the head, then the full grain in the head. But when the grain is ripe, at once he goes in with his sickle, because the harvest has come. He also said, with what can we compare the kingdom of God? Or what parable will we use for it? It is like a mustard seed, which when sown upon the ground is the smallest of all the seeds on earth. Yet when it is sown, it grows up and becomes the greatest of all shrubs, and puts forth large branches, so that the birds of the air can make nests in its shade. With many such parables he spoke the word to them, as they were able to hear it. He did not speak to them except in parables, but he explained everything in private to his disciples. On that day, when evening had come, he said to them, let us go across to the other side. And leaving the crowd behind, they took him with them in the boat, just as he was. Other boats were with him. A great windstorm arose, and the waves beat into the boat, so that the boat was already being swamped. But he was in the stern, asleep on the cushion, and they woke him and said to him, Teacher, do you not care that we are perishing? He woke up and rebuked the wind and said to the sea, Peace, be still. Then the wind ceased, and there was a dead calm. He said to them, Why are you afraid? Have you still no faith? And they were filled with great awe, and said to one another, Who then is this, that even the wind and the sea obey him? Here ends the reading of the book of Mark, chapter 4, the Gospel according to Mark.